This show is about my brother and me. It's about our lives.
Yes, congratulations!
Throughout this 8-episode season, we explain a lot about ourselves and the experiences we have. But we never really explain who we are. So I hope this story serves as a good introduction. In Jack and the Beanstalk, Jack and his mom own a cow. It was a nice cow, but it was all they had. When Jack goes out to sell their cow, instead of selling it for gold, he sells it for a handful of beans. Beans that were supposed to be magical. For me, that's where the story ends. Yes, Jack eventually grows a beanstalk, and he robs the giant, gives all the stolen gold to his mom, then he murders the giant with his axe. But all that stuff's irrelevant. The point is, he didn't trade the cow for money or a sure thing. He traded the cow for a chance at something great. In March of 2000, Van and I took our tax returns and both bought iMac computers. iMac DV computers. The iMac DV was the first home computer that allowed you to edit video. We maxed out our credit cards buying video cameras, and we taught ourselves how to make movies. And our movies brought us all over the world. We had no money, just our cameras and our computers, and we got all this attention. Which brought us to Tom. Tom thought we should make a show, so we did. We took a year and we made 8 episodes. We didn't know what we were going to do with this show. We didn't really have a plan. Then HBO liked the show, and they bought it.
Fuck yeah! Oh my god!
This is a handmade home movie TV show. We shoot it on cameras that you probably shoot your friends and family with. We click them into video mode and go off on our adventures. Then we come back to the studio, shoot the missing pieces with our big camera, and edit. I forgot to add the title for 368 Broadway. Here, watch me pick my nose. Our production cycle for each episode is 6 weeks. 4 weeks of adventuring and 2 weeks of editing. Here are the short films we've made in the last 6 weeks. 368 Broadway, about the studio where we make this show. In Biodad, I meet my long-lost father. Casey rides again for the first time since he got his titanium femur. A cool thing about a garbage truck. And we meet Casey's son in The Blue Giant. We hope you enjoy it.
An explanation of our TV show. In each episode, we'll show what's going on in our lives through a series of short films. But this is not a reality show.
The episodes work like this.
Take the 7 new short films for this show, then add a couple of less structured interstitial movies, and one overall theme to tie everything together. Combine all of these elements, carefully bake them together in iMovie. And voila, the second episode of our TV show. Our producer Tom Scott said it was essential for us to explain the structure of our show at the beginning of every episode, and he's a really smart guy. So the show works like this. My brother and I make a couple of short films about our lives, whatever we're up to. Then there are a handful of much shorter interstitial films. Then everything is strung together into a nice half-hour show called the Neistat Brothers. In this episode, I try to figure out whether or not I should break up with my girlfriend, and Van leaves all of his worldly possessions in the back of a taxi cab. Our cycle for producing these television show episodes goes like this. We have 6 weeks. 6 weeks to make enough little movies to comprise an episode. The last 10 days or so of the 6-week cycle is spent in our studio editing. No sleeps, no breaks, just editing. The 2 weeks before that, the middle 2 weeks, we might work on a specific film or whatever project needs attention, but we take it pretty easy during this time. And the first 2 weeks of the cycle are party time. That's when we're spending the episode's budget as fast as we can, traveling, whatever. For this episode that you're watching right now, these first 2 weeks for me, Casey, were squandered, wasted, killed. And it's my own fucking fault. An explanation of our TV show.
The show is comprised of a series of our short films
About our lives. Then there are shorter interstitial films laced throughout.
All of these elements are combined.
And that's the TV show!
An explanation of our TV show. The show is comprised of a series of our short films about our lives. Then there are shorter interstitial films laced throughout. All of these elements are combined, and that's the TV show. Here's how we make this show. For each episode, we have 6 weeks to shoot, write, and edit a 30-minute television show. Casey is responsible for 15 minutes of content, and I'm responsible for 15 minutes. Casey and I divide our allotted 15 minutes into a few short movies ranging from 16 seconds to 18 minutes long. The easiest part of the process is the shooting. We basically just go live our lives for a month, making sure we have at least one video camera with us at all times. Then we shoot stuff we find interesting. Which brings us to the edit. By far the toughest part of the process. What you just watched was 43 seconds long and took 2 days to edit. We have to take hundreds and hundreds of shots from our month and then cut them into some kind of cohesive story. Why the movies range from 16 seconds to 18 minutes. We've done a lot of stuff over the last month, and I want to touch on all of it. So for this episode, I'm taking my 15 minutes and making 15 movies. I'm going to try to keep each movie under 1 minute. This intro will be over a minute, and it counts as one of the 15 movies, so I'm starting at a deficit. An explanation of our TV show. The show is comprised of a series of our short films. About our lives. Then there are shorter interstitial films. laced throughout. All of these elements are combined, and that's the TV show. So this is episode 6, and in this episode, basically 2 things happen. In the Dean movie, we go snowboarding, and in the Joe movie, we go to a football game. So we'll start with this one.
An explanation of our television show. The show is comprised of a series of our short films about our lives. Then there are shorter interstitial films laced throughout. All of these elements are combined. And TV show. Some pretty monumental stuff happens in this episode. Van decides to go through with his which is maybe one of the darkest times in his life. At the same time, we both celebrate the biggest accomplishment of our careers. This was definitely the hardest episode of the season to make. The introduction to this episode is going to be done using stop frame animation with money. The show is comprised of a series of our short films about our lives. Then, there are shorter interstitial films laced throughout. All of these elements are combined, and that's the TV show. Ah, hello there. That opening sequence was made with money, but that wasn't just to be cool. The truth is, we're totally broke right now. And I mean straight up, no shit, broke. Here are our bank accounts. This is my personal account with 21 bucks. Our business account, 94 cents. Van's personal account, and our resort loan shark and kidnap fund with 12 bucks. We're dressed in these monkey suits to go to the Emmys. There's something horribly ironic about not being able to afford a taxi when you're a nominated filmmaker. It was for a little movie we made for the New York Times. Why are we so broke? Because we spent money on one hell of an adventure. We also closed on a deal that's going to solve our financial woes very soon.